Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends. And I've got kind of a burr and a catch in my throat and in my voice when I speak, and my sinuses have been just in peak drainage mode today. Sneezing and just all sorts of drainage. I might be catching a cold. Yay, I haven't even been around people. So where would I have caught a cold? I don't know. On the other hand, people have caught viruses that rain down from the air constantly. And they have caught things that would not have been in their area. It is rare, but it does happen. Plus, I have gone into like the post office when there's nobody around and I haven't worn a mask. So if there was standing viruses in water droplets, I would have inhaled them and now I would have caught something. On the other hand, could be allergies as well. And of course, front-loading of videos. Hey, if you could toss me a like, that'd be awesome. If you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be very cool. If you could leave me a comment, that would be double plus good. And I would like to thank each and every one of these Patreon patrons. They are literally beautiful and literally awesome people that are helping to keep me and my aging pet alive. If you would like to help out and help keep me and my aging pet alive, I have links to my Patreon in the video description, along with a PayPal for possible donations, an Amazon wishlist link with things like pet food, a post office box where you can send me anything at all and I'll show it off on camera. Thumbs up, thank you all. Front loading the videos over. I do want to thank RJ Mitchell, who sent me $20 yesterday to help me survive. Thank you so very, very much. It is appreciated. I like being able to metabolize. I know my kitty cat likes being able to metabolize. Thank you so very, very much. Now I have a whole bunch of tiny little things to talk about and then some other kind of major things to talk about. First off, my post-mortem on the still ongoing Note Quest on online stuff. Don't forget that this is just the game itself you would likely have on a PDF file on your computer. And there are just a million tools out there. I'd like to show how you could do this with like 4 Against Darkness, because even just using like things like Irfan View and a paint program, you can just clip and copy the sections of the dungeon out of your PDF and then just paste that onto your ongoing map. You wouldn't even have to draw it. So I'd like to show how you could do that entirely with online tools and things that are available on your computer. So because you don't need dice if you don't want to have to do it. You don't have to have a table set aside. You can be sitting, cross-legged or over the arms of an overchair, and then just do it all on a phone, a tablet, or sitting at your computer. Or even on a console, if you could figure out how to do that. I don't know, it might be possible. So thumbs up. Also, this is a really, really quick thing. I am still now bitter. Slightly bitter. Because you can't deal with these things. I mean, you have to deal with them, but you can't dwell on them because, especially in my case, both of my parents are dead. So I can't talk with them about this. But one of the things that does irritate me about my situation in life is my grandfather built the house that I grew up in up until like after I got out of the Air Force. And my mother largely lived in that house up until till she was in like 50 or something. My stepfather, who was in his 40s when he married my mother, lived in that house. So they took advantage of generational wealth, a house they didn't have to pay for, a house they didn't have to buy, so that they were able to save money and go on to retire when they got older. That's fine. But what bothers me now is how after they took advantage of the previous generation's generational wealth, they then pulled the ladder up behind them, sold everything, moved into a tiny place, and then burned through all of it so that I and my sister had no ladder to climb. There was no more generational wealth. They spent it all. So that was nice that the previous generation, once again, they pull up the ladder that they used to get where they were so that you can't follow them. So yay on that. Again, slightly bitter, but nothing I can do about it. I mean, I never talked with my parents about it because it was in the past. You know, it happened decades back, even before they died. So what would be the purpose of talking with them about it? So, yay. But I just wanted to talk about that. Yay. And of course, 77 Arcturus was talking about how they are adjusting their sleep cycle to a more natural form. I spent my life being nocturnal, struggling to be diurnal, because you have to be awake when, you know, you're going to school, and if you're in the military, which I was from 19 to age 23, you do what the military tells you. So I spent all my life dragging during the daytime, and as soon as the sun went down, getting energized. As soon as I got out of the Air Force, every job I ever took, graveyard. I slept during the daytime, and then I worked at night. Every job up until I went into rehab for my alcoholism, and then went into an afternoon type schedule where I met my wife, well, soon to be wife, and then we got married, and I had to be diurnal. Diurnal, of course, just means awake during the daytime, nocturnal, awake during the nighttime. I've spent the entire 12 years I was married to her just dragging through the day, so tired, barely able to keep my eyes open, and as soon as the sun went down, I woke up. And then, after she perished, I spent a few years with my sleep cycle in flux, because I didn't have a bed to sleep in until I came here. I had to sleep in a chair. So it was just, I stayed awake till I fell asleep, and then when I woke up, I went for a while until I fell asleep, and just did that. Moving here, I stuck to a daytime schedule because the rest of the world's on one, why not? But then a couple years back, something went like that. I'm not nocturnal anymore. As soon as it starts getting dark outside, I start getting sleepy. I can't just stay awake all night anymore. It's a weird feeling. I liked being nocturnal, so I don't know, but I have changed in many ways. I no longer have I have the type of ADHD where you're always bouncing a leg or doing something like that. At the same time that I stopped being arachnophobic, that need to shake a leg went away as well. There are some weird changes going on in my body, but you know, age. Let me check what else I have here. Oh yes, Justin Roiland and Rick and Morty. I'm just going to say that I like the type of humor that Justin Roiland did. Now, I like the kind of quick, stuttery sort of thing. I can follow that and appreciate it. It sounds natural, and it works for me. I like the game High on Life. I like Rick and Morty. I like that type of sense of humor. So I am shocked and horrified at all of the terrible things that he is being accused of. And yeah, unfortunately for Rick and Morty, he's been fired off of Rick and Morty and everything else. He's out of everything. So if this is true, it's horrific. And if it isn't, then it sucks that way too. But there's so much stuff. Oy vey. You give people a little bit of power, and so many of them just go nuts. Thumbs up. On the other hand, the type of personality that is required to rise to the top in cutthroat environments like Hollywood and animation and all that is the type of person that would do something like that. Thumbs up. So let me see what else I have done on here. The last thing I'm going to talk about before I go off onto my creative stuff is I have talked about how I like the remixes of the song Unholy Voices from the video game Blood from the mid-90s. I think it was mid-90s? Mid to late 90s. I can't remember exactly when. And how people have done just amazing remixes. There's just the plain MIDI version, which sounds okay. Now, I have the discs, so I could get the music straight off of them. But I've gotten them from YouTube because, hey, I'm a human being, I'm lazy. One of the songs is the song that I have been This is the version of Unholy Voices that I like, because the actual song that's being so pumped up by these other versions is actually almost an afterthought. It's underneath the overlying theme, which is they have a very reedy sounding instrument that will play periodically in an almost discordant type of tune with the rising and falling Unholy Voices stuff out of the cinematic remixes. And you've occasionally got people who are doing the wails where it's like that. And it's really good. So if you want to check that out, look up like Blood CD Soundtrack 03 Unholy Voices. It's very good. Now, past that, I have gone walking to Walmart, of course. I walk up to Walmart every single day. I do a 6 mile plus walkies to keep myself at least passably healthy. I try to do my best to go walking up and down the stairs here. So if I need something to eat, I go up and down the stairs. If I have to go to the bathroom, of course, up and down the stairs. If I want to see the world, up and down the stairs to go out the front door. So I try to keep that kind of exercise going, and then the 6+ mile walkies every night where I entertain myself by really thinking about the subjects on my inside-outside razor's edge cryptid setting. So I'm going to do just some random talking now about the creative setting because I like the creative setting. I am still hoping to get these things written before I die. If I don't, at least I'm talking about them so people can hear about them. But there are things like I have mentioned how there are human and cryptid relationships. You will have a cryptid and a human being, and they become romantically involved. That does happen. Some cryptids, like Calvin Tisdale, in late 70s, well, age in late 70s, not from the time, aged in the late 70s, traveling the U.S. now. He's a cryptid that's just interested in things. Try to remember now. And so he was dealing with just a straight human wife, no vision, nothing. All the way up to those who get involved with those whose third eye has opened very widely. It all depends on the cryptid and the person. Now, if you do have a cryptid relationship between a human being and a cryptid, well, any human being at all, there is a survival thing that has happened both for the cryptid side and the human side. Because you will find that in any relationship between a cryptid and a human, the cryptid is the dominant partner. The human is the submissive partner. You can be the most, alpha, sigma, ligma male. And it doesn't matter. You are going to automatically defer to the cryptid in your relationship. Just innate. Genetic, of course, so your mileage may vary, but this is a survival thing. One of the few times that cryptids are affected by natural selection. In a relationship, it has just been discovered through time, natural selection, that if a cryptid dominates the relationship, it keeps the human within certain boundaries, and boundaries are actually good. When you have boundaries, you know what's expected, what's not, and as long as they are healthy boundaries, that's a good thing. And the dominance is not to impose your will and force them into something. It's to keep both of you alive in a relationship. So they're the dominant partner, but it's not to dominate you. It's to keep both of you alive and healthy. So as a survival technique, that's what cryptids do in a relationship with a human being. On the human side, just as much. If you get into a relationship, you automatically fall into the submissive side. Again, it's a survival technique entirely, especially since cryptids are dangerous in the first place, even if they're just perfectly sane, rational, and reasonable. They do forget that people are as delicate as we are. They ask us to do, and they involve us in things that may just automatically kill us. And they will often forget to ask us if we want to get involved. They are dangerous. But, try and remember now, the whole submission thing, when you are in, well, yes, they are dangerous because if you push a cryptid into an instinctive state, that's worse because they're not thinking. It depends on the emotional state. If they are in a instinctive lust state, you may not survive. You may perish, but it's not going to be the same way of perishing that you would in a different situation. So a lust-based perishing might not be a bad way to go. But if you push a cryptid who is in an angry state into an instinctive state, well, then you've gone from having a rational, reasonable thinking being into having a large, angry animal that is constantly and desperately hungry for human flesh, and it is laser focused with its anger on you. Savor your last few moments of life. Your existence as a human being is about to end, and your existence as a meal is about to start. So, as a survival technique, deferring instead of arguing and pushing the matter will keep you alive. And again, it is not you don't see any creepy power dominance things going on. It is just a pure survival thing. Both partners stay alive and healthy. So it is a good thing. And you still, of course, I've halfway mentioned that the love language of cryptids amongst themselves, and especially among human beings, is, if you are in a relationship with a cryptid, when you wake up, they will say things like, good morning, delicious. I'm going to get out of bed and have some breakfast now, or, I'm going to eat you up right now. The constant talking of wanting to eat your partner. Actually, if you are in that relationship and if you're a human being, you find very reassuring. It's like someone coming up behind you and saying, hey babe, I love you, you know that. Except they're saying, hey babe, God, you smell good. You'd feel good in my belly. And you just lean back against them, I love you too. Because that's what it means. Is there anything really last here? Really quick one. There are no real great defined gender roles or toxic masculinity or toxic femininity in this cryptid world. If the cryptid of Alan, who's of a previous generation, then, well, he's a nice guy, but he's a cryptid. He never wears anything. He's just the typical cryptid, he never doesn't think about it. If he does wear clothing, it's because he likes the design, the color, the patterns, whatever. If Alan decided to wear a light sundress because he happened to just like the way it looked and felt and all that, there is not a single cryptid out there that would blink twice at Alan in a light sundress. I mean, even a cryptid like Cornetto, who is mayhem and chaos incarnate, who gets pissed off at gravity and takes it out on the world, is not even going to blink twice at Alan in a light sundress. It's not a thing. He's wearing what makes him happy. He doesn't have to wear anything at all. That's cool. So that sort of toxicity doesn't exist. But there's plenty of toxicity we don't have to deal with that does. And I've opened up 24 hours for the comments in my community tab. I'm going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended. And even though I count American Sign Language, we have Chris, thumbs up and thank you. Jesse Koskinen, greatly appreciated. Always good to see you in the comments. Thumbs up. And Ice Cream is dum bum 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 da 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 bum 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 bum. Halo Top. 77 Arcturus, good to see you in the comments, definitely. Dark Shot. If I have Hello Neighbor, I mean, I might, through some past bundles, I'll actually try giving it a shot for the channel. I haven't been able to get hold of my nephew to get my computer put together, so that's fun. JAYY, thumbs up, thank you. Greatly appreciated and good to see you in the comments. Floramu, thumbs up. There is YUTIOR Holmes, thumbs up and thank you. There is Mason Odom, greatly appreciated. Thank you very, very much. It is appreciated. And then there is Rick J, thumbs up and thank you. Ice Damon, thumbs up, good to see you in the comments. RJ Mitchell, again, very, very cool. Yeah, I love commercials that catch you by surprise. Those are the best kind. Boring, just standard commercials suck. So thumbs up. 11 people who left me comments in the past 24 hours. Greatly appreciate it. Get me out of my head, into the world, and dealing with real people, if only for a short time, and if only in text. My time blindness has been horrific. It feels like yesterday I had therapy last week. And therapy again is tomorrow. This past week has been blink, blink, blink. And I don't get that time back. I love having severe ADHD. Even medicated. It's just thumbs up. I'm going to try and get done what I can get done. If you can get done what you want to get done, cool. But if you can't, do not beat yourself up. That is not going to help. It's only going to hurt. And of course, here in the United States, still, people are dropping like flies. On the conservative side, they're not getting vaccinated, and they're dropping like flies from a disease that loves to kill those who aren't vaccinated. And then they're going onto the TV and on podcasts and saying, gosh, look at all these people dying. Isn't that suspicious? What happened with this vaccine? Why are these things happening? It's happening because you're frickin' stupid. You are helping the human race by dying. Thank you. The rest of you, please, take care. Take appropriate precautions. Diseases don't care. They will take you down. And of course, if other things bad are happening, like active volcanoes, don't go swimming in lava. Crashes on highways, don't go dancing in traffic. If there's a robbery, I wouldn't go there and try to buy something. Especially if it was like a house. That would be weird. And of course, I've forgotten the next thing I was going to say. I can't remember. Still though, if you do hear the mournful howl of the bus horn when you're out a walking, that bus with your name on it, yeah, you're gonna die. Your life, your existence is about to end. I mean, you'll still exist just as a crushed and smeared corpse, but as a human being, no. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing.